Welcome to the Incorrigible Party After Party. I'm Patrick Hillier, the guest NPC.
The first one.
The first.
Absolutely.
Very first one.
Do you remember his name?
Wolfgang Ulrich.
There you go.
Wolfgang,
Yeah,
Wolfgang Ulrich.
I think that's probably easy for you to remember, right, Patrick?
Right, because his name's on the side of my El Grande box.
I totally did not get that.
Hey, you guys aren't the only ones who steal, like Mr. Applebee's and, easy to remember
Prince
names of
Charmington.
things,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Lame attempt, Leland. Lame.
Right. So it's like, hey, this just happened to be sitting right there while we were talking. So I was like, hey, there's a good
That's
name.
amazing. It went over my head initially.
Oh yeah, I didn't really expect anyone to notice it. It was just happened to. I thought it was a good name.
It is good.
Oh, I thought it was good too because you literally said in the episode, yeah, my parents just saw it on a box.
Yeah, that was an awesome little...
That was the joke. Yeah, that was a little bit of a joke. But
Well, in today's after party, we're talking about 16, 17, 18. That's right. Are those ones? Okay.
Yeah, it starts out, I believe we're on our way to, where were we headed at the beginning of this one? We were by the lake, I believe, camping, and then we were heading down to...
Goldham,
I guess that was our destination, yeah.
Tried to get to Goldham.
Yeah, Shaft really knows where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
yeah,
All the time. Never leads us astray.
The
It
ranger.
really doesn't make any difference if we have a plan. We just sort of point a direction, and we end up where we end up.
Well, you were like, I'm a ranger. I know where everything is in the mountains.
Mountains are my territory.
Do I have a favored enemy anywhere in sight?
Well, I didn't think you listened to me. I feel special now.
Do I sense any orcs nearby?
Oh, man.
I did.
That was amazing.
See how that came
yeah,
in
there was
handy.
one behind you.
That's right.
I think that's one of the funniest... That's one of the things that's made me laugh the loudest so far in this podcast. I did not see it coming.
No.
It was such low-hanging fruit, but...
Yeah, the comedy of Leland Steele.
I'll pick it. Yeah. If it's,
I'll pick it.
I don't care how low it is. I'll pick it.
So yeah, I think what we said 16 was the first one. So we pretty much took our time, went down, and finally worked our way into the cave. I believe the first part was a little interaction with an ogre. Was it?
That's right. Yeah.
That was this is the lantern.
Is that
episode.
what you call murdering somebody? A little interaction?
For a lantern, though,
Well, that lantern was important.
That
to
lantern's
Shaft.
sweet. Yeah, I don't have dark vision. But that lantern is awesome. So it was important to get that back.
That was also 16 is also the episode where Emily straight up lied to my face about which result I had dictated on the percentile meant what. Because I say something and can't remember it 3 seconds later, so I have to rely on you guys.
It was pretty sly.
That's why I was laughing so hard when I said
I know, and I should have realized that you were full of shit, and I just took you at face value because you have a very kind, trustworthy face, Emily.
There you go. So what did you learn,
You
Leland?
deceived me wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
That was about the fence, right? Like which side?
I think that was the orientation of how the lantern landed, whether or not the light was pointing into the cavern or...
Ooh, you said it right. Good
I said it right.
job.
Or pointed at the
He's
door.
allowed to say it however he wants.
Well, listener at home, we've recorded months ahead, and he still says cavern for the next little while here.
Do I actually say?
Yeah.
Isn't a cavern like a monster too?
You did it both ways. You said cavern and cavern, I
Yeah.
noticed.
Okay. Because I swear I say cavern like on the red.
I don't know about that.
Thankfully, we've
But
got
every
it
once in
recorded.
a while, you get a little curious and you got to dip into the cavern and see what's down there.
I just assumed it was a Canadian thing.
That's the first time I heard it. I went, "What the hell did he just say?"
Also, the first time I've heard it, and been in Canada for over 30 years.
Well, look, I also had the exact same reaction to it when I heard it back editing. Like, what did I just say?
It's a West Coast thing, I guess.
See how nice we were? We didn't correct you at the time.
No,
We
I
just let you,
was
we
very
let you
surprised.
continue on and say it over and over again during the recording.
Just
Like a
subtly
good
make
friend
fun
would.
of you later.
I think it's honestly because the first time I said it, it was because like I was thinking cave, like this is a cave, but it's also it's like, well, it's in a mountain, is it not more of a
Cave.
and then so I'm
Cavern?
like, it's a cave. Oh wait, it's more than that. Urn.
And then he just went with it.
And then I just went with it. I guess
That-
I fell into
that takes
my
balls,
pattern
Leland.
here.
I'm impressed.
And then we assumed you had nothing planned for that, so we were just like, he doesn't even know what he's talking about.
I didn't have basically any of session 16 planned. So you guys found this cavern
There you go.
that was unplanned,
Really? So
and then it
Yeah.
became something that I planned because I knew you guys were there.
Oh,
It
interesting.
became a very elaborate plan.
It sure did. There's a whole lot to that mountain that was
So many
barely
levels
touched
left
upon.
to explore.
I put some work into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
fingers crossed you guys get back there.
Well,
Spoiler
if he
alert.
doesn't get... Oh, shit.
Hey, spoiler alert.
We can edit
Hopefully
that
you
out,
get
right?
back there. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
we might be led back there by someone.
Well, and then we hit session 17, which 17 and 18 featuring the Patrick Hillier,
Thank you.
which will, I think, probably become a staple of our NPC guests. It took us about 20 minutes of the episode before we actually got to the guest. For you guys fucking around.
Yeah, poor Patrick just sitting there waiting.
I enjoyed listening.
It didn't feel that way at the time, but listening back, yeah, we took a
I
really
get
long
pretty
time.
engrossed with myself when I'm talking, so it's easy for lots of time to pass.
We were very preoccupied with these dogs, and Leland
know.
was trying to make it as easy as possible to get past them. Oh, when they're well fed. He's telling us all this stuff. We're still screwing around.
Well, I mean, we're supposed to ride him out of there, I believe.
That would have been awesome. I was
I don't
really
know.
hoping, but at the same time, I was equally scared that like I'm gonna try and mount one that's just gonna chew off my leg.
Yeah, they seemed a little scary.
I did not really want to ride one.
Yeah, I didn't trust him.
Well, it worked out. We rode an elevator instead.
Yeah,
The,
we sure did.
the safer method.
Did you?
I did not think that elevator
I
was
was
going
gonna
to be a
say.
thing.
Did you plan the elevator to be something that maybe like Gozer would crank up and down? Like, did you anticipate all of this like Gozer pouting and not cranking and like?
No, of course not. Of course not. You can never anticipate anything that Gozer does. And again, I see. I mean, I had it like mapped out, but I didn't really have thought out how the elevator exactly worked until you guys got to it. And I'm like, oh, I have to explain how this works. So,
Yeah.
if you notice, I didn't explain at all in the episodes about how one on a floor without the elevator would call the elevator.
I was thinking
Yeah.
that myself. Yes.
Yeah, so that wasn't explained, which it does exist, but I didn't explain it all.
Oh, I thought that was just a hole in your.
Well, it wasn't the
Logic.
time, but of course it's going to get retconned should you ever get back there.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
well, we were there. You can let us know on the after party. How does it work?
Oh, well, I mean, it's just the same. On every floor there would be a similar crank,
There's a winch.
which you would be able to use to raise or lower the elevator. depending on
Okay,
where it is, I
so
guess.
when Falzarin used Shatter, and they heard something was amiss, they could have called the elevator instead of.
Yeah.
Could the crank on the floor be used to counter the crank that's on the elevator?
That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, see,
Like,
exactly.
could they have
Get
just
like a
brought-
tug of war?
Yeah, see, there's probably a lockout mechanism
Right.
that keeps the two from working at the same time. you know.
Exactly.
Otis, the
That's right.
wizard, probably thought that out.
Look, you don't know who built it. You don't know how smart they were. You don't know what kind of how far ahead they thought of things. So there's still some mystery to the elevator itself.
Yes, and
okay?
they were fresh out of elevator lubricant.
I loved the squeaky crank sound effects you put in there. That was so
Patrick,
good.
Patrick saved us.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did.
He legitimately did.
Yeah, he did.
How much damage would that have been?
Yeah,
If we
how
hit
would
the
you figure
bottom?
that out?
gosh.
So the max falling damage, I believe that one can take is 20d6.
That's bad.
Holy smokes.
Had you hit the bottom of that shaft, I certainly would be maxing out that damage.
Sure. And then there was like a bunch of guys down there, or orcs or something too.
Yeah, that would have been
You said
perfect.
20 d6?
Hobgoblins.
Yeah,
20.
goblins.
I don't think we made it to the bottom of the shaft, though. I don't think.
No.
Right. It just we just like I think we just came down and saw this
Yeah.
cavern of goblins, and then we're like, oh, go back up.
Right.
I was legitimately scared on that we were like done for when that elevator
I was too, honestly. How the hell would I have fudged that?
Would falling damage kill us, or would we just be unconscious and then wake up like prisoners?
Well, I mean, I guess.
It would
Depends.
depend. If it did, again, it could outright kill you if it did enough damage to you, right?
That's
Well,
true.
20 d6?
So if it does,
Yeah, so
Double.
falling damage, you take 1d6 of falling damage for every 10 feet that you fall.
Oh, so we don't know how long the shaft was, but you do.
Right,
Okay,
but
okay.
you're right. And then I guess the idea of it maxing out is, when you fall, you hit terminal velocity, right? So you're only going to take that max out falling damage.
Which is 180 hit points, which is way more than double hit points of any of us.
yeah,
Right.
20 d6? If they were
I don't
all
think it'd be
if they
too
were all
hard
sixes,
for that
would be
to squish
240.
Falzarin.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I can't math tonight.
240,
120.
but you guys, sorry.
Wait,
A lot.
No, it would be 120.
6 times
If they're-
20.
yeah.
Way more than
Yeah.
enough to kill
It's
us outright.
120.
A few times over.
Most likely, yes. Yes.
But is it
especially
not
at your guys'
twice?
level.
You'd need to roll a bunch of ones for Falzarin to not be obliterated.
Have to roll 21s.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah, my math was way off. Oops. Sorry, Em. Sorry for
That-
picking
my
on
math
you.
was off too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes 3 people to figure that out. Apparently.
Yeah, so that was clutch that Patrick mustered his strength and grabbed.
It wasn't just
winch.
me. It was me and my buddy, who
Vixner.
we can talk about that right now. So Leland sent me very good notes, which I transcribed over to this piece of paper, and yet I gave you the name of the town he was from as his name,
I knew it!
not the name.
No
He
wonder
gave
it was
me.
close to Victor. We knew it.
I know.
Awfully close.
It's awfully close,
We
isn't
even
it?
commented that. That's so funny.
Yes, you did. I know. But he just went with it after I
did,
said
yeah.
it a couple
bead
of
of
times.
sweat.
Just roll
A
with
bead
it.
of sweat's developing on Patrick's head when we're asking him.
Yeah.
I will say, should the party in the future uncover the more about what exactly was going on with Wolfgang and Vixner, it kind of actually almost makes sense.
Okay.
What
So-
makes sense?
Okay.
Very cryptic.
That his name is Vixner.
Right.
That his name may or may not have been inspired or in close relation to a city in Aspara.
So he really was lying, and Bryn probably should have killed him.
Are the
Maybe, yeah.
That was the other thing in my notes. I gotta find my notes here where it says. It was Bryn gonna kill me? I don't know. I can't find the notes, but it was just like,
Yeah, Bryn's not very predictable on the killing front.
you guys think that, but
Yeah.
like in all reality, I kill less people than we run into. Like it's so I am chaotic neutral.
true
I'm like
for-
a 50-50.
For the amount of reputation you get for killing people, and for the amount of smack talk Falzarin gets, I think my kill count is pretty significant.
You technically give the final blow.
Even the most prolific serial killers can say that. Yeah,
So I was gonna say, I kill less
kill
people
less
than we
people
run
than I
into.
meet.
Stop it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let me think what I want. Yeah, I mean, she is getting a little bit evil. I've been like playing her character more recently. I'm trying to keep in mind that I'm playing her kind of more evil than I should be. But
Been around Gozer too long.
but like yeah, Gozer and Bryn are establishing a friendship. You guys will stay tuned.
I think she sides more on the greedy side, which is okay.
That's true.
Not as evil as selfish and just wanting money. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's the difference than evil.
Pure evil. Darth
True.
Vader evil.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
True.
Right. Gozer doesn't care as much about money. She's just evil. Right, Gozer?
Yeah.
Gozer seems more chaotic than anything.
Yes.
Yes.
Than evil.
There was a lot of Gozer little Easter eggs. I don't know. In these three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calling
Things
out
got
for
revealed.
Elena and
Liana. Not Elena. Thank you.
Elena.
It is close though.
It is very
Liana.
close. I called Elena Liana, but Elena was Bryn, so it's not even. The tooth on her necklace,
yeah.
Yeah.
and she's got a bunch more teeth now too, I guess. But
Whatever the ogre had on
Yeah.
the bones that he had. Now mine.
Yeah, so it was almost like 17 and 18 were like a bit of like almost like a bottle episode, which was interesting. And it may, it's always so funny just listening back, like how we're like just world events, that like the way you guys are playing, right? Like, and how the days pass, where we'll literally have like 6 sessions of releases that it's like a single day.
yeah,
Which, I don't know how that happens, but it always does. And like I think at this point, it's like day 9 of the overall campaign. Like it's been 9 days since you guys met
Oh,
in
jeez.
Zexa. Like yeah, it's not been very many days.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to write down on a piece of paper what's happened each day and
how many people
compare.
have we killed a day?
Oh, I certainly have those notes.
Yeah.
You have our kill stats?
I have your field stats. Yeah, that's right.
Kill
Kill
stats.
Oh, sorry, kill stats. No, but I have like a day tracker.
I do think the kill stats, if the person who deals the killing blow, like Falzer,
That's definitely what
should get more credit
that's
than we
definitely
give
what
him.
what we should be recording is who gets the killing blow.
Because he killed,
I let Gozer and Shaft and Bryn do a bunch
He
of
killed
damage,
the-
and then I just throw a spell at the guy.
the ogre. And like I never realize it or treat him like he's killed all these
Yeah.
people till you listen back, and then
Give
you're like,
Falzer
oh
some
yeah.
respect.
Do we get credit for the assist? I mean,
Just kidding.
Yeah, you'd have to get the assist point too.
Gozer's just a beast.
Gozer is a beast. So just despite these 2 episodes being, or 17, 18 being like bottle episode, you guys got a lot of information actually about this mountain.
yeah, there's a lot of crap in there.
Yeah, as far as, I mean, just its inhabitants alone, that's like a lot of information.
What there's ogres.
Not really. It's the Cavern Hotel. There's some right. There's some rooms up top, not well lit. Has not really that comfortable. And as you go down, there's
Crappy
like
elevator.
a couple garages there where you keep your wards.
Just like any other hotel, there's bed bugs.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bed bug
No
bears.
concierge service.
You have to crank yourself in the elevator. I mean, come on. Where's the elevator
right.
boy? You should have made an elevator boy like Budapest Hotel style. Like,
There's ogres, hobgoblins, goblins, potentially some other wargs,
Bugbear.
bugbear.
bed bugs. What's a hobgoblin compared to a goblin?
It's like a goblin leader. They're smarter, more organized.
Bigger, scarier.
Yeah.
I've never heard of.
Yeah, so the 3 goblins, bugbears, and hobgoblins, they're part of the goblinoid family, it's called, and they're just, they're close. They're basically like related as like cousins, kind of. You can kind of think of it that way.
Do bugbears look like bears?
Not really. No,
I was picturing like a big roly-poly fuzzy thing.
they're more like apes, actually.
They're bigger than the hobgoblins, right? So
Yeah.
it's like bugbear,
Yeah, they're-
hobgoblin, then
They're
goblin.
bulkier,
But they're
bulkier.
less.
They're on 2 feet.
Smart, right? Like I think the
So
hobgoblin would
it's
typically be the
interesting.
leader.
The hierarchy within the goblinoids, yeah, especially with Volo's Guide to Monsters and the additional information that was released in that supplement. Yeah, the hobgoblins are like the tacticians and like warfare centric.
right.
So yeah, they
They'd
would
be
be
the commander.
employing a lot of strategies. Yes, exactly. Like they would be in the leaders. Bugbears are basically like gozers. They're just brutish, hulking. They they like to get paid, but they're kind of lazy though. They like to take naps all the time, and they work when they need to and when they're getting enough compensation for it. And then of course at the bottom of the pole are poor little goblins who basically just follow the might. They just if someone comes along stronger comes along, then they're either going to flee or they're going to try to kowtow to it, and that's kind of how they function. So they're kept in line by, of course, bugbears. Bugbears are really bullies too, but that's pretty much how they're kept in line, and how the hobgoblins. I guess the hobgoblins like pay bugbears, and bugbears keep everyone in line. So it's weird. It's kind of because you always think like, well, bugbears are like the big, bulky, like the powerhouses, but they're not kind of at the top of the chain. So.
Sure, the muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
I just picture them being really fluffy.
Well, they're not good for cuddling.
They just,
Probably more bristly hair.
that was just like the picture I had.
I don't know. I misremembered. I was thinking like owl bears, which is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I think owlbears would wreck the party. They came out of a pack of owlbears.
So I really like what you did at the end of 16 with the little extra story at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
That was very nicely done.
Some foreshadowing.
That was fun. I wonder how many people stuck around and heard it.
for the after credits.
I didn't hear it till you told us about it.
They can go back now.
Well, also the version I had originally sent you guys didn't have it in it, but
Right.
Oh,
I wouldn't have
it's
heard
it's
it.
the one on the air. It's the one on the air, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, then I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
Well, it doesn't say who it is, but
yeah. I'll
it kind
leave
of says
for
who it is.
listener to listen to it.
yeah, I think you can put it together. Originally, the reason like I had sent you guys way before, not you, Patrick, but everyone else. It was I don't even think it was quite a final cut of session 16 yet, but I hadn't included it yet because I didn't want to spoil it for you guys. And since in recording we've kind of cut up to these events that were kind of laid out, so it's no longer a spoiler, but we got you guys realized and discovered this thing on mic as opposed to hearing about it and then it kind of comes around a few sessions later and it's like, okay, cool, this is happening now. We already knew about it, but
Oh, yeah, no, we
Yeah,
were
no,
not
that was
expecting it, right?
right.
Yeah, no. That was cool.
Yeah, I hope to do kind of more stuff like that.
I like that you did that.
It was a cool description of all the wreckage that we left behind.
It made me think of the Goonies when Chunk and Sloth were going underneath the country club after the rest of them had already gone through, and all the pipes were all messed up. And you're like, yeah, they've been through here.
Well, I think it also kind of shows, that you guys do have an impact on the world.
Yeah, we do.
There are consequences to everything that you guys do.
So one thing I noticed when we were recording is there seems to be a little confusion on skill checks rolling a 20 versus action or attack roll rolling a 20.
Yep.
And what that means.
I continue to have confusion with that even.
Right. Wasn't it with
much
Bryn?
more recent recordings. Well, like
Did
for
I
me,
get another critical taken away from me again? Because that just happens every episode at some point, right?
I've got some spells that are either I roll for an attack roll and see if that is a high enough roll to beat the opponent's AC versus I cast a spell and they have to roll a
okay. That
not
is
what
something
she's talking
different than
about.
what
Oh, you're
Emily
talking
is
about something different.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like Emily
said
is talking
skill
about
checks.
if I get Bryn to make a stealth check, which is what stealth is a
Right.
skill, right? And she rolls a natural 20. Rules as written on skill checks, a natural 20 or a critical fail are not a automatic success or an automatic fail, respectively. You still add any of the bonuses you add to that, and you still get a numbered result. Now, so we've been flip-flopping back and forth on how we're handling it. We never really explicitly stated or laid it out as a rule. So it is kind of on me that the confusion still exists because I have been like, okay, cool, you got a natural 20. You're just going to do it. I don't care what.
It
your
was
total is
me,
kind of
I
thing.
think, that I had already rolled, and I was like, well, whatever you decide I'm doing, I succeed because I rolled a 20. I already had a 20 there. It was one of these episodes.
Yeah, I think so.
But
yeah.
no, I would
think
have
that's
to
what
add
Emily-
my
Bryn bullied
modifiers.
you.
Yeah, because in order to pass a skill, Leland tends to have a number in mind that you have to beat.
Right.
So it could be like a 30 that you need to beat. So rolling a 20 is not going to get it automatically. You have to add your bonus to it and see if you beat it.
A cheap lock, if you're going to pick it, could be a 10 or better. And a highly locked up vault might be a 25 or a 30 for you to do it. So you have to have your bonuses, right?
Right.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and I kind of don't like it because the entire game is built on rolling dice and randomness and how you deal with that randomness. So I really like the idea of basically, by some fluke, anything is possible if you roll a natural 20, right? Like, if you know, and so that's kind of what I lean towards, just like rolling with a critical success like that, and a fail, of course. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, it kind of for me would be a little bit disheartening to accept the reality that, which I guess I can see the other side of the argument where you could say, well, it makes sense. Some things are impossible, but for example, if you don't have a great bonus in the skill, and even if you roll a 20, it doesn't matter because you don't have enough of a bonus to boost you up to a 30. So you're never you might as well not even roll because you can't possibly do that, which is not as much fun, but also in the same...
More thematic.
Yeah, if you're not practiced in that skill, it makes sense.
Right, yeah,
Right.
it does.
Yeah, like Bryn's, I think my highest skill would be stealth, and I could get a max of 27. So I could see Leland knowing maybe where some of our skills are that we're skilled in and being like, all right, this is gonna have to be 21, 22, but I would never say to make it a 30 where we can't get it. What's the point?
Well,
That's sort of why I tell you when we see something like, hey, why don't you sneak up there?
Right.
Or why don't you try to pick this lock? Because I know you're going to have a better skill.
Yeah. My
in
sleight
doing
of hand
such
is high
things.
too, but I think it's only +5 or something. But yeah.
Well, also keep in mind the application of some of those skills is not just against a difficulty check number that I decide. It could possibly be a contested check against someone else's roll.
Right.
Like with your stealth, Bryn, Elena, with stealth.
Liana?
Liana, who are you? So, like, if you say you critically succeeded, you roll a 20 on a stealth check, and yeah, that's a 27. If the creature looking for you, though, does roll a 30, then that's still they find you, right? So it is dependent on some of the application and how exactly the skills function in terms of gameplay mechanics as well.
I don't mind you using your I don't mind you using your DM power, is that the right
Powers.
word? To decide.
yeah.
For the story,
Right.
for the
And
circumstance.
Some things do need to be impossible, right? Like if I suggest that I'm going to jump off a cliff and I want to survive the fall.
Even
like,
if you got critical.
that might be impossible, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. I guess that is there to deter that kind of behavior. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to let you do something that's ridiculous.
I mean, we should let Falzarin do whatever he wants.
Here's an umbrella. Use it like a parachute.
It's a magical umbrella. You're a magic user. Mary Poppins it.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Well, I mean, so in that example, though, when you fall, and when you take damage, when you take falling damage, you fall prone. And even though we have done this in the past, allowing you guys to do dex checks to avoid falling prone or damage, which again we flip flop on, like that's not a rule. That's just something that. Well, I mean, and it is application. We've applied it when you guys you're not just falling, you are like jumping off something in the middle, doing some other maneuver kind of thing.
So let me flip this. So what Falzarin was saying earlier there, or Bill, either, was talking about his spells. Most wizard spells are going to require the target to take some kind of a save. You don't have a lot of direct roll attack spells as a wizard. So therefore, if you're playing that way, if the creature that he was attacking rolled a natural 20, would you go ahead and give it to him?
Well, yes, because Falzarin's spell save DC is garbage.
Right.
That's
It will
a
get better.
success. that's a success. But again, we are talking about the difference between a saving throw and a skill check. That is the distinction there. Completely different things,
Okay.
completely different
Well,
realms.
okay. But,
A saving throw always has a specific number that the target needs to beat, right?
Right.
Whereas with skill checks, it's a lot more in flux.
Yeah, I have
That's fair.
trouble differentiating the two. I understand what you're saying, but if you asked me a week from now, I'd probably get them confused.
But for that same thing, say if Falzarin's spell DC was 22, and someone rolled a natural 20, no, they still fail that save.
What's the quickest way to make that happen?
Level up.
Yeah, exactly. Get to level
Roll
20.
better stats.
Kill some
I
more
rolled
bad guys.
terribly when I made Falzarin. Poor guy. It's not his
You did
fault.
have the worst beginning stats out of all
Oh, yeah.
four of us.
Yeah. At the time, I was like, oh, it's okay. I'll just roll with it. But you do use them for a lot.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know if I trust Emily's stats after all of her little
I didn't start lying till way after we started that.
Nat 20, nat 20, nat 20.
She's like, oh, Gozer's got 18 strength, like all this stuff.
Oh, that was legit.
I probably would have distributed I maybe would have distributed one or two of my rolls a bit differently in hindsight, but I don't know.
I heard you die in 19, so don't worry about it.
Spoilers.
We'll see.
Stay tuned.
Hope Falzarin wasn't your favorite.
That would be a
my
hard
own-
thing
he's
not
my
to
only.
spoiler. That'd be a hard thing not to spoil. On after party, we start talking in the past tense about a character. Oh shoot!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Gozer was amazing. Wait, what do you mean?
Or we're all just like really sad.
Yeah.
It's the most downbeat after party ever.
It's actually a funeral.
Yeah, I was just going to say
We all
that.
have eulogies prepared.
We could do that if that ever happens.
If Bryn dies, I will write her a eulogy for sure.
Yeah, but
I'm glad to hear you're so attached.
Yeah, no one else is gonna do
I
it.
really am.
Only after 9 days.
Shaft
Like-
to give the eulogy.
Like 6 months, but
Yeah, it's been a while.
No, that's great.
9
I
in
mean,
game
that's
days.
the fun thing about it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we particularly get along very well yet.
no. But I'm saying I like me, so
You like Bryn.
yeah.
Well, Falzarin, I mean, Falzarin is pretty. He wants everyone to get along. He's just hoping that the party will, be one happy party that gangs
And
together.
not leave him to die.
You're using us.
Well,
You wouldn't be safe on your own.
yes and no. I don't necessarily have any ill will for any of you guys.
You're using us to distract people while you steal stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Mr. Good. The good character in our party.
Chaotic good.
Well, I will tell you, each and every one of you party members are using the other one. So
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Gozer's definitely using. Yeah.
And the GM isn't hurting them.
There's a lot of little scuffles with Gozer and Shaft again. Like, I stick my foot out to Tripper and all this stuff. Like, those two every time.
Yeah.
It gets me every
Yeah, I
time.
don't think that's going to get any better in the near future.
Yeah. Probably not.
No.
I'm gonna officially submit sleight of foot skill check to Wizards
Right?
and see if
I
they
like
can
it.
incorporate it into fifth edition.
I like it. Listening back, I felt like at the end when we got out, like I was trying my best to grill Wolfgang and Victor, let's just say what it is, Victor. But I didn't know what questions to ask. So like if there's any more information we didn't get, I just didn't know what to ask. I was convinced he was holding out on me though.
Yeah, I could.
So you fell bad on just threatening.
I could.
Threatening to murder, right?
I could tell that you were. You thought there was more and you wanted to grill him, but I think what we forgot was doing, asking Leland to do a check to see if he's being truthful or not,
Or asking nicely.
or that.
Or intimidating. Do
as
an
a last
intimidation
resort,
check.
we could do that, I guess.
Yeah, I will say you guys do very few insight checks,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the weird thing is like I can't always like ask for them, right?
I know. I think sometimes, at least personally, being new to this, I get preoccupied with, and we've talked about this before, like moving the story along. So we can't insight every single thing, or else that would be really annoying to listen to.
It's hard to find a balance between doing that nonstop, but also making use of it to when you need to.
Sure.
But Bryn knew.
You can't stop
Panning
to
for gold.
inspect every
Bryn
rock.
doesn't know shit.
Yeah, I'm really curious to know what we missed out on finding out. We'll have to wait for next time we are back in that area.
Who knows? Maybe run into Wolfgang again.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, there is a common theme of things coming back to haunt us.
That's very true.
Literally.
They're gonna chain us up and put a bunch of raw meat around and feed it to Gozer.
Well, see, that was all actually part of their hiring process for the elevator bellhop boy. So you just you completely ruined any of their potential employment prospects.
That's true. That was really what we were there for.
That's right. As I said, the ogre down on the second floor down, or the first one we went down, he was supposedly relatively nice, right? Well, I mean, we attacked initially. He did ask why we were trying to kill him.
Yeah,
but we didn't hesitate.
I started to feel bad after we laid into him. I was thinking to myself,
Why are you hitting me?
we probably could have talked to this guy instead of just killing him.
Yeah, that was a little aggressive.
It was a little uncomfortable, yeah. Sorry, we already started hitting you. There's no point in talking to
Can't
you
stop now.
We,
Poor guy.
Well, I mean, even the first ogre at the gate before he even got into the cave, like he was not 100% aggressive.
He started it. Gozer was not going to
Gozer,
attack.
you lipping off.
You definitely
behind
started
his
It wasn't
door.
me. It was Shaft. Shaft was lipping off.
it was 100% you.
Nope. I went up there to get the damn lantern back because I felt bad about knocking you in there.
You didn't feel bad about yanking me off the wall.
No, I didn't feel bad about yanking you off the wall. I
Yeah.
felt bad about the lantern falling in there.
Oh,
So I was going to
okay.
get the lantern back, and I wasn't going to fight him, and he said it was his, and I was like, okay, that's fair. I knocked it in there. It's your lantern now. And I was done. I wasn't going to attack.
I remember going differently, but okay.
That might be how it happened, but that's not the way I
And then
remember it.
Shaft spoke up and caused a ruckus.
You didn't, yeah, I mean, just because I say something doesn't mean everybody has to get all pissed off about it.
The ogre got
You could
pissed
just-
off.
You could,
The ogre got
you
pissed
could
off.
just let it roll off your back. I mean, this is a growing thing for Gozer. You need to learn how to take criticism.
My fault.
Things
No,
like that.
I don't. I don't need to take criticism.
See, there you go. This is where the problem ensues. Look, there's 2 dead ogres on your head, along with a bugbear and what else?
We didn't kill a bugbear.
We didn't.
Oh,
we
we didn't.
escaped out of there, but
That's right. We got out of there.
like Emily, you play the character so well, but I get so annoyed. Gozer's going to accidentally,
Oh yeah.
you know,
that was
it's
bad.
like, you're freaking kidding me, Emily? Like,
That was
on.
bad.
Didn't
or it's
lead
like
to anything.
Gozer's gonna drag her axe along the wall. It's like, please, like, stop playing her so well, please.
Yeah, that was funny. I did not see that coming.
Chaotic.
I think you guys probably could have handily mopped up those ogres, though.
The one
Yeah.
sleeping.
I'm really curious
Yeah, I
to
think
see
The ones where it was just the 2 of us around the corner.
what a bugbear does, and a what's the other one?
Hobgoblin.
Yeah, hobgoblin.
Well, there were quite a lot of hobgoblins.
Yeah.
That one might have been a little difficult to get.
I would have been concerned after the shatter, though, just everyone running over there and beating up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
it
It's
wasn't
a really wise
the
choice, right?
best choice of
Not
spells.
the best thing to do. No.
I
Well,
really was
it-
not thinking very far ahead. I'm just like, oh, this
It
spell looks like it
elicited
can do
our-
a lot of damage.
Not
Let's choose that
super
one.
stealthy.
It elicited our third bleep.
Oh, right.
Our third bleep of the
Right.
campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. You made Leland so bleeping.
Oh, I was killing myself when you did that. Oh, man, that was so funny.
As soon as you guys reacted, I was like, oh no. What have I done?
I think it's all part of him being new to wizardry. So, like, he's looking through his spell cards and he's, like, looking at damage,
I'm mostly
range.
looking at,
Yeah, and then he
exactly.
doesn't realize what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, for your very first character, a wizard might not be the best choice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wizards are tough.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's a lot to learn.
I think you're picking it up just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it. I mean, despite the mishaps, but
It makes it more fun.
it's what I've always like. I grew up thinking wizards were super cool. Loved reading fantasy books when I was a kid, so it was kind of couldn't not pick a wizard.
You have a lot more creativity, like, with, in fights. Like, basically, I'm like, I draw my bow. Like,
That's good and bad also too, because I've started to play Falzarin a little bit differently when it comes to fighting, but the first handful of sessions I was like really wanting to be creative and do things that were probably haven't been done a million times, as just slinging magic missile at people. But that doesn't always cause a lot of damage when you do those sorts of things. Sometimes you just have to pick a spell that's going to do a lot of damage and just do what it does.
Yeah, and you also, I mean, you're an evocation wizard. That's
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't choose like a
so the
path
school
of
of magic, you
being an illusionist or anything like that.
sure, or conjuration or something.
Yeah.
well, you're using your spell slots. Like, he's finally using more spell slots and stuff, too.
Yeah,
so.
you're firing off, and we really are seeing like your power creep like get exponential. Too.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the way wizards go. They start out pretty weak and then get better.
So, Patrick, you said you used to play D&D. Tell us a little about when you played and what characters
gosh.
you've had and things.
I mean, I was 20 years ago. I was second edition.
Yep.
And I liked Rangers a lot. Just pretty traditional stuff. I didn't like the spellcasting. I think it was a little bit different back then. It was very, very much, very limited spell using and memorizing spells every day and having limited abilities. And generally played humans and or maybe halflings. Really didn't get into the demi-human races or whatever you call them very much either. I had some friends, we just played, we played in the basement at my friend's house. If you watch Stranger Things,
Yeah.
the opening scene there in the basement, that was us. That was me and Dan and Jeff and Mike playing in the basement every night.
I was gonna say a pretty regular thing.
Pretty regularly, like on weekend nights or whatever, playing all hours, eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew until all hours of the night, and just playing forever. And and then we stopped, and then it was fun. It was funny. We got together some more recently. Some of me and my friend Jeff, he's been moving around to the military, but we got together when he moved reasonably close to Fort Knox. We got together for a weekend, and his kids and my kids, when they were in their late teens, we got together for a weekend and played some D&D. That was fun, and gave his son, my godson, extra set of books that I had. And what else have we done? We tried to do one locally, but the kids just weren't into it. They wanted to kill everything. So they were like,
I don't know what that's like.
yeah. So, but I've done lots of everything. Everything. I veered off into other role-playing things.
What other role-playing games have you played?
I did a lot of superhero stuff, about the same era. I did started with Villains and Vigilantes and Champions role-playing. It's a superhero-based role-playing game. And it's I really enjoyed like making characters as much as I did like doing stuff. So in Champions, it's almost like an engineering math problem, like building characters. If you ever seen the game, it's super complicated. Like you got to buy all your points, and you got to do this spreadsheet and balance everything out so it equals the number of points. And I had as much fun doing that as I did actually playing the game. But anyway, I ran that a lot. I would take some hero, and I would make versions of everybody, like a version of Iron Man or a version of Hawkeye or a version of whomever. Just put my own twist on them or combine two into somebody else. And I had a lot of fun just making those characters and then run them against my heroes. And but everything. I mean, I I would just buy books just to read them. I have everything probably there for Gamma World with mutants and, the James Bond one from the 80s is probably one of the best games I ever had. I love that one, that system.
Did you ever DM or GM?
Yeah, I GM Champions. That was the one I
Okay.
always ran. Yeah, that was the one I always ran. I didn't run. I had a friend Pete that ran the DM groups for us most of the time. That was always the challenge. Is no one wanted a DM.
I guess we're lucky we have Leland.
Yeah, not the case with us.
Yes. So we're lucky that way. You guys are lucky that way. Pete was good at that. But the other challenge too is just nowadays it's just regular time to do anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're adulting.
I think D&D was really big back, and I did the same thing back in second edition. It was a really big thing, and then it was still an underground, throughout third and fourth edition and everything, but it really made a big comeback in 2015 with fifth edition, and now you see it everywhere. I mean, it's really exploded, and it was neat. That's sort of what got us back into it. We bought Descent and a few other dungeon crawl type games back then, and the more we were playing, the more we reminded me of playing D&D, and then we sort of got back into it. Next thing you know, we're spending just as much or more time playing role-playing games as we do board games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad we got back into it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a lot of fun to just be able to jump in. I mean, I think that's the beauty of board gaming, right? Is it it's something that just takes a shorter amount of time and kind of gives you that feel. The things like not Mansions of Madness. What's the one with the tiles? Is it Mansion where they're dungeonless? The app runs it now, so you don't have to have a
Second
DM,
edition.
right?
Yeah.
I think you're thinking
Yeah.
of Mansions of Madness, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking of? Okay. I don't have it. My friend has it. But anyway, they have that feel of a role playing game. But they're DM-less, right? So
Right.
you can just sit down in an afternoon and have that scratch that itch.
Right.
It's not the same. I'm not saying it's the same, but
Right.
it's still there's some things out there that give you that feel.
Yeah, I don't like them. They put me out of a job.
No, like I said, they are not the same. They're hardly the same. You don't get attached to your characters, right?
That's very
True.
true.
Yeah, not as much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were going to make a D&D character today, what would you make?
Oh gosh,
I know the hard-hitting questions.
I don't know. I've always wanted to make a wizard.
Yeah.
My
man.
I'm kind of jealous of Bill casting those cool spells, but
What spells? Which ones? Which ones are cool?
just being able to cast spells.
Okay.
I mean, I've just never, they've done wizards. Like I've said, they've done wizards different over the years. Like they've split them off into different kinds. Like
The warlock and the sorcerer and
yeah, like I don't even know how to describe them because I've just read about them, but I've never ever played them. Where like ones where they have an innate amount of magic to them, and they can cast a certain number of spells, and then there's other ones that like Bill's kind where they still have to memorize them every morning. So there's different kinds of magic used, and I don't even know what there is anymore. I don't have them. I don't think I have 5th edition books. I may have them digitally.
Yeah, basically everyone can cast spells in 5e.
It's
Yeah.
kind
It's
of
like
Yeah.
every damn class has the capability of moving into some type of subclass. It gives them some spontaneous spellcasting ability.
Sure.
There were feats where if I took the feat, I could have cast a spell.
Do they still have monks? I like monks too.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yep.
I thought monks
Yeah.
were pretty
Yeah.
cool. Sort of like
Monks
hand
are pretty powerful.
I-
Yeah.
8th level monk in one of our other games that we're playing, and they really they can move and they can do some hellacious damage.
Yeah, if you can survive the low levels, that's
Yeah,
because you can't wear any armor and all that stuff.
but they can't hit you if they can't catch you.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So yeah, I've I'd have to remember. I've probably played lots of things. I just can't remember. I thought druids were cool.
Yeah, I like the druids.
You guys are missing a cleric. You really
Yeah.
need a cleric.
We're
Oh, yeah.
missing a
Tell-
cleric
tell us
big time.
We sure
We
are.
know.
I've played so many clerics, so I just couldn't do it again.
Yeah, it's one of those thankless jobs, right?
I mean, it's better now than what I've heard it used to be because I can get up there and fight.
Yeah.
And because I can wear armor and stuff. It's just playing the same type of thing over and over again. It gets a little old.
Sure. Right.
So I've never played a barbarian before, so that's why I wanted to do that.
Oh yeah.
It's more challenging without a cleric, but I think
I'm
we have a pretty good support group.
I'm glad
right?
that you picked a Gozer, because I think it's made it pretty interesting.
I'm trying.
I think if you play it right, you have the tank that's holding aggro, right? Basically, nothing can really get by her, especially with her new feats and such. And then you have the backstabbing going on with Bryn, which can do some hellacious damage. Chaff can hold his own pretty well too, but he tries to avoid combat as much as possible. And then you have your blaster back in the back, and when you get up to 5th level and you can really start winging some spells, we don't have to worry about damage that much.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a different story once I hit 5th.
Don't say that, because Leland's going to throw bigger things at us.
He's going to do that anyway.
I will say, currently, the enemies that you guys have faced have not been particularly intelligent.
Nope.
Or strategic or tactical. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. You eased us in well, I think.
Yeah, it hasn't felt easy,
Hank an idiot?
but at the same time,
Hank was a bit of an idiot.
That was one of the things that we had a hard time with the kids was, when was it smart to fight and when was it smart to run away,
I'm just picturing that scene where Shaft literally ran, dashed, and didn't do anything but run around. Remember that?
Right. I made it all the way to the cage and then all the way back.
Yes. Dash there, dash back to the elevator. That was
And
fun.
then down we went.
Yep.
I just love that it all
Wolfgang got a hit.
in real time, right? It all happened within seconds, and so Shaft's just running back and forth.
little halfling zipping around.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe 20 seconds of that fight.
I love it.
A single ogre for your leveled party is not difficult at all. I mean, Gozer basically took on a ogre 1v1 in session 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost...
They're not a high challenge rating.
I wonder
for
what
where
would
you
happen
guys are.
if Falzarin took on an ogre by himself.
I wonder.
We may never know.
Bopped on the head.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Episode 19.
The death of Falzarin.
And that's
The next
like he
after
knows.
party is
That's
going to be
why
so
I need
Yeah.
to
Is it
ready
a
eulogy.
19 or is it probably 20? I don't remember how long it took us. We probably argued for 30 minutes about where to go to sleep or something. Which side of
He's
the river
taking
to
first
go down.
watch.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I'll sleep for 45 minutes and then...
But first, I had to discuss the difference between a short rest and a long rest.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We
For
failed
the
to do
8th time.
We failed to
Like
do
our
like
bedtime
insight
story.
checks or take our time in battle, but no, we'll sit there and discuss how to travel, what's the best way to travel,
Well, I am starting to cut out some redundant rules
Okay, good.
reminders in some of the episodes.
You're too kind.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, so we're going to have to record for an hour and a half each episode so you can take that.
Took out 30 minutes of reminders.
All right. I'll have to write that down.
I think I got you covered, John.
Wait,
Don't
what
worry
do I
about it.
what modifier do I add to my attack roll every episode for
How do we do it?
everybody
What do you
knows
add
that
to
now.
initiative?
yeah, what do we add again?
I just think it is educating the listeners.
Well,
Yeah.
because in reality, so this is episode 18, we maybe had 4 sessions? 5? I'm trying
Right.
to...
Our sessions
Yeah.
tend to be pretty
So,
long.
like,
yeah, so.
and you go
There's
a
been
month
some
in
big
between.
breaks in between.
Yeah. Like at the
Yeah.
beginning, we had much bigger breaks in between, for sure.
Yeah, we're trying to do better with that. Try and record more often. More regularly.
We've played 7 distinct times at this point.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
it.
but-
up to these episodes? Or
Yeah,
total... all
up to these episodes.
Oh, really? We played more than
We
that?
recorded Patrick's episode when? Was it early April?
Beats
Yeah,
me.
something like
I
that.
think it was something like that. It was pretty
Yeah.
Mid-April. I think it was April
Mid-April.
15, 16.
right. Yeah, so we're
Yeah, we were really far ahead for a while.
True.
now we're about a
Oh,
month.
yeah, I just
so.
got back from somewhere.
You were in New
Orleans?
Orleans, yeah. Yeah, we remember.
Yeah.
I was exhausted.
Poor Patrick.
Well, everybody's gonna be at Origins, right, Leland?
See you there.
On our phone as we walk them around.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hang out me in, and
We'll get one of those little
Remote
robots
control.
on wheels that
Yeah.
has the laptop on it.
Nice.
I'll control that.
We did have a request from our good listener Ian to run a D&D session at Origins for all of our characters.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome
Little
if we can make
one-shot.
that work.
A one shot with
His journal thing that he's been doing. It sounds really cool. It's a
With-
little
of
different
course,
from D&D.
With Leland's permission, of course.
Well, we won't.
don't need his
record any of the stuff
permission.
that happens. It'll be like a dream.
Well, I don't want to feel like we're cheating on Leland.
Well, any experience or anything we get won't count, so...
Yeah, that's true.
In fact, I might dock you some.
So basically, like, have our character with all the current stats, but then
Yeah.
none of it matters.
Yeah, I hadn't caught that
Yeah.
that bit of the plan. That sounds cool.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
We'll see if Leland's been teaching us the right rules, because Ian's the one that always corrects us, right?
He does seem to know the rules.
We played on Friday with our other group, and Rob was our DM, and I was asking him how he wanted to do something. He's like, well, do you want to play by the right rules, or do you want to play by Rob's rules? And we're all like, immediately, Rob's rules!
Yeah.
Because it's a lot better, more favored towards us. So it's like, we'll play by Rob's rules.
Yeah, there's a lot of the little caveats in under a few rule sections in 5th edition. Like a small little detail that if you miss, it completely negates the purpose of the rule.
Makes the interpretation very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we talking about catapult or what?
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
No, I actually wasn't. But that's
Spoilers.
So
We'll get
actually,
there.
I was thinking about surprise. Actually, surprise is like that thing that everyone always screws up. I think we got it right.
Did we
I'm
get a
pretty sure we
surprise
got it.
round?
Not in this batch of sections, but in an upcoming one, we had a situation of surprise. I think we played it right. I'm pretty sure we did.
Did I get my little whatever? When a creature surprised, it's a critical hit.
Yeah. No, we
did?
gave that to you.
Okay.
But the way surprise works is like it's not like a full surprise round. I might have called it like a surprise round.
Yeah, you
But
did.
basically, it's just you just go through the initiative like normal, and if a creature is surprised, they can't take any of their actions, right? But they are then allowed to take reactions after their turn is passed in the initiative. I think we screwed that part up in one of the upcoming.
Yeah, that doesn't
episodes.
sound familiar.
Yeah. So the thing is, if the surprise creature's initiative is higher than the creature that is surprising them, then they get their reactions
Oh,
afterwards, right?
that could change things.
It could in some instances it can change things, yeah. Like with Falzern, if you have a higher initiative than a creature that snuck up on you, you technically act first, even though you can't do anything, but you then get your reaction to be able to cast shield should they try to hit you.
I see.
Whereas if they have a higher initiative than you don't have that reaction until you've taken your turn, and would not be able to cast shield to protect yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So it is an instance of subtlety in which gets screwed up a lot, and I think it's something that comes from older editions and the way it worked in older editions being ingrained into a lot of people's thinking, and it just like this word of mouth that gets passed down as far as how to play something, right, and like a rule set.
Like the rules for Monopoly.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. Exactly.
Or Uno, apparently.
Really?
Did you hear about that?
No.
Apparently,
No.
Uno addressed on
Yeah.
Twitter or somewhere online that basically we've all been playing Uno wrong.
What?
Something to do with the wild card, right?
You can't play a +2 after a draw 2 after a wild 4 or
I think
something?
you can't stack them.
Yeah.
Oh, we always stack.
Oh yeah, we used to just murder each other with those, just stack a whole bunch of them.
Uno's addressing this now?
Yeah,
Yes.
What the crap?
invalidating our childhoods.
Hasbro or whoever makes the game?
How often, I mean, do you guys play Uno with keeping track of points?
On the reg. No, I'm just. We don't even own Uno.
It's been a long time since I played Uno, but
Oh,
played it
see,
many times.
Uno's really fun when you play it like that, like how you're. I think it's the actual rule set of it, where you get docked of cards left in your hand when someone goes out,
right,
kind
yeah.
of thing, right? Yeah. And some cards are worth more. Like I think if you get stuck with a wild or something,
Yeah.
it's like
Oh, yeah.
negative 50 points or something weird like that.
You mean play it like an
Kind of.
adult? What?
Wrap my head around the statement, Uno is fun.
Uno is fun.
Now, Llama, the SDJ nominee, is very much kind of like Uno. If you look at it, I haven't played it, but when you look at it being played, it's like, oh, that's kind of like Uno.
what's this one? Llama?
Llama, Lama.
Okay, I haven't heard of this. It's nominated for a Spiel des Jahres.
Tina, you fat lard. Eat your dinner.
What?
What?
Sorry.
I don't get that reference.
That's a
Someone
Napoleon Dynamite
someone out
reference.
there is going to understand it.
Okay.
The one listener who gets it, tweet at me. I love you.
It's a Napoleon Dynamite.
Tina's the llama. Come on, people.
Got it.
Okay.
And he goes, Tina, you fat lard, eat your dinner. He's got the plate.
It sounds a bit familiar, but yeah.
Okay. It's a movie
Yeah,
that's
he's got
more
a big
fun
old
to
casserole dish in his
more
arms
fun to
and just,
quote
like,
than it is to
slinging
watch. Oh yeah.
Spoonfuls over.
Just
That's so true.
flicking. It's so much more fun to quote it than to watch it.
That's really true.
But you have to watch it a lot to quote it. So
It's a give and take relationship that the common viewer has with Napoleon Dynamite.
You gotta put the time in. That's for sure.
I think I quote Napoleon more than any other movie. Yeah.
I quote a lot of Dumb and Dumber.
In Austin
Yeah.
Powers.
Yeah.
Those are your two go-tos.
I haven't seen either of them in forever, but I don't know. They just stick with me.
I might occasionally quote Princess Bride.
I was going to say, that's mine.
Mm, that's a
Just
good
Have
occasionally.
fun storming the castle. Anytime,
Yeah.
anytime Alan leaves the house.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Why don't you give me a nice paper cut and pour lemon juice in it?
And of course, to bleed.
Yeah. And then my favorite is, I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. That's a little telling about my marriage there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a witch. So he's calling you a witch. John's very
I
silent.
don't see how I'm getting drug into this.
Yeah. John's
I know
very
he's been silent for 20 minutes.
It's already happened, John. It's too late.
Hakuna Matata.
Well, I think we're tangenting pretty hard here.
Way out.
That's what we do.
So does anybody have any closing remarks for sessions 16, 17, and 18?
Yeah, the few of you that listen, send some questions because we don't have questions from you guys.
Well, part of the problem is that we haven't released all the episodes yet. Maybe.
That's
be.
true.
I'm glad you choose to believe
Unfortunately,
that.
we're recording this before all of them have dropped. But
Okay, I interrupted Patrick.
I just going to say, I had a good time. Thanks for having me.
yeah, we had a blast.
Good.
Thanks so much
Yeah, it's
for
great.
carving out the time and for coming back for the after party, too.
Can't wait to hear your next guest.
Yeah, you
Who's that?
took the risk of your reputation to come on the show.
That's true.
But the good thing is, it's just a few people that are going to hear it, so we can just imagine, right?
We have
Yes.
very small reach, so you're probably safe.
Yeah, you're probably
I'm
good.
safe.
I think
Okay.
Patrick's the reason why we hit 1,000. Leland had
Hey.
little faith, and
That may be right.
Oh, that's right.
we killed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Congratulations.
showed concern that we would not meet our arbitrary goal. That's correct. I'm
You
very
bet
happy to
against
be
us.
proved incorrect.
I
was
flat
that
out
was
said
that
we
a
wouldn't.
1,000 total or just
Now,
1,000 at one
Patrick,
time?
don't bring us down.
Yeah.
Oh,
Patrick, your episode got 1,000 listeners.
You know
Okay.
what? I was all about having him back someday, but after that comment, I don't know.
Due to unforeseen complications, internal bleeding and such, Wolfgang died off screen.
Do, 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 do.
she knows the song.
It's been stuck in my head. Oh,
That elevator fall did more damage than we thought.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good night.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Yeah, that was good. Do we want to? We should maybe have Patrick plug his stuff again, or
Oh, yeah.
Plug it up.
All right, this is Patrick Hillier. I am found on Twitter at @OverTheHillier, and you can find all my other stuff on punchboardmedia.com.
Thank you,
I do
Patrick.
suggest do suggest you go and look at your numbers before this episode drops, and then after, and see what kind of spike you get in your numbers.
What
there.
kind of dip
I
you
will
get?
do that.
Yeah,
do that.
let us know.
Okay, I will check that right now.
Can it go negative?
I was gonna say, how do we only get good news out of this, this result?
Leland, you want to start us signing off?
Sure. I've been Leland Steele.
I've been Emily Detmer.
I've been John Detmer.
I've been Liana Adio.
And I've been Bill Adio. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
And that's our show. Our intro and outro music was created by Josh Jarvis. For your own musical inquiries, contact jamesmercymusic@gmail.com. All other music and ambient noise is courtesy of tabletopaudio.com. The Incorrigible Party is sponsored by Critical Hit Design. Visit criticalhitdesign.com for all of your graphic design needs. You can find more info on the characters and world at incorrigibleparty.com. Enjoying the show? Have any questions or rules corrections? Email us. contact@incorrigibleparty.com or reach out on social media. The Incorrigible Party on Facebook and Instagram, @IncorrigiblePar on Twitter, using the hashtag AfterPartyIP for a shout out during our behind the screen after party episodes that drop every 4th release. Happy adventuring!
Very good job editing, by the way, Leland.
Oh, thank you.
He does, actually. As much as I like to harass him, he makes us sound pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He makes me sound alright.
No, that's just how you sound.
Wait till you meet me in person.
Oh boy, I won't be able to apply all my filters.